And because of that, that's probably the one regret that I have in college. When I was a kid, I lacked self-confidence, and it was to the point where like I would almost envy people that I saw that looked pretty confident, especially in high school and in middle school. And one of the many reasons that I decided to start taking care of myself and being healthy is because there is a self-confidence that comes from that. Mentally, it does something to your brain to where you're just more confident in your decision making. And this has nothing to do with like ego or anything else. It's just I feel like it makes you, because you're more confident, it makes you a more like decisive person. All that being said, on my run this morning, I was kind of questioning or thinking like why it's really hot and humid in Tennessee right now, and I have been running 10 miles for a little over 2 weeks now, almost every time I run, and I was just beginning to think about like, well, why am I doing this? A common thing for like long distance running is people really put an importance on like knowing your why, because that's going to get you through when you don't feel like running 10 miles, because most people most of the time don't really look forward to a 10-mile run. I look forward to the things after the fact, and I look forward to the mental clarity that it gives me, but most of the time I'm not looking forward to running 10 miles, especially in the Tennessee humidity. And that's where I started getting down the rabbit hole of, I want to be a more decisive person. I want to feel like I have like more. I want to feel like I can like make better decisions with the information given to me, and a lot of that comes from self-confidence. And I didn't have that, like I said, growing up. And looking back on that now, I feel like if I did have it, I feel like I would have saved a lot of time, especially going into college. On my run today, Savannah actually made the coffee ahead of time, so I didn't actually have to make it. The only thing I had to do was make my oatmeal, so that was sweet of her. I just got a notification telling me that I had a delivery in our mail room, and I think I know what it is. It's something from TikTok Shop. A company sent me, and to be honest, when I inquired about it, I didn't really know. I want to make it into a camera rig. I want to make a separate video about it, but it's not designed for that technically. But I think it'll work. Also, I will say this has nothing to do with confidence. Well, maybe it has a little bit to do with confidence in asking a company to deliver something that has nothing to do with a specific task that I want it for, and I have to make a video about it. So maybe there is some confidence there, or maybe it's just stupidity. I feel like when people go to college, they fall into two different categories. Those that really know what they want to do, they have laser focus, and then the rest of the people that, and I fell into this category of maybe I kind of have an idea of what I enjoy doing, but I don't actually. The thought of picking like something that I'm going to do the rest of my life just terrified me to the point where I had no idea what I wanted to do. The only word that really comes to mind when I think about that specific situation is paralyzed. I was paralyzed by whatever the decision that I had to make, which is my major, which is ultimately going to be what I do for the next like 50, 60 plus years of my adult working life until I eventually retire. That's what I was thinking about when I was trying to figure out what kind of major or what kind of like job I wanted to do after college. And at least for me, that's an incredibly, even thinking about it now, that's an incredibly stress. Like I felt my pulse jump up as I was talking about this. Yeah. And honestly, looking back on it now, I think the root cause of my confusion was a lack of confidence in myself. When I was in college, I literally switched my major probably three or four times, and the first at least the first two, probably the first three, I had no interest in doing. I was just simply doing. The only reason that those were my majors was either because my parents said that it would be a good major, or because I talked to somebody else and they said that it would be like a good, dependable major. I was basically basing my entire life off of what other people thought, again, because I didn't have any self-confidence. I didn't have the self-confidence to say, like, this is what I wanted to do. And if I had that, or had any kind of like, if I had even just a little bit of it, I would have eventually found out that what I was doing was I was just trying to make other people happy and compromising like my own, basing my life off of making other people happy, which that'll never work. And maybe some of this like self-confidence stuff comes with age, because I've noticed as I get older, or as I've become older, then I've started to like, one, not really care what people think, but also like be more confident in like myself as a human and myself as an adult making decisions and everything like that. And I've just noticed over the course of like, the more that like I take care of myself, the more that I eat healthy, the more that I practice like not caring what other people think and just knowing, like trusting my own moral compass, one, the happier I become as like just a human being, and two, I find that I don't second guess myself, and I typically go with my gut. And at least for me, I've found that my gut a lot of times is right. And if I had gone with my gut originally with college, I feel like I would have wasted a lot. I would have wasted a lot less time and money. And because of that, that's probably the one regret that I have in college. But I mean, like I said, I don't really regret it because I did eventually get here. But if I had one lesson to like tell my younger self, that would be it. Just be more like confident in my decisions and know that I can make good decisions. We've been on the hunt for a couch, kind of, but not really, because our couch, the way that it's set up, like I don't know what it is, but it's just our backs, like our upper backs, kind of hurt after sitting on it for a while. I think it's the low back on the thing. So we've been looking for a couch that looks good, but doesn't look like one of these. Nothing against those. It's just they're comfortable, but typically they're I mean they're really really ugly. They're comfortable though. What if I got one of these? Savannah's birthday's coming up, and I told her that I was gonna get her some Birkenstocks because she wanted some. But the problem is, I have no idea. Like I can't pick those out on my own, so she's picking them out, and I'll pay for them. Where am I going with this whole video? Like what is the conclusion, and what should you pull from this? Basically, I think what I'm trying to say is, if you're letting other people dictate what you're going to do, or you're basing your entire decision on other people's opinions, not saying that you don't take other people's opinions into consideration. At the end of the day, you need to be confident in yourself and your own decisions, and trust that your decisions will guide you in a way that you're supposed to go. And I think also being okay with making mistakes is a big one too. Like eventually with college, I came to the realization that I needed to drop out because I had made a mistake going to college. I don't think the lessons that I learned in college were a mistake. I was confident enough to realize that I needed a radical shift, and that radical shift for me at least was to drop out of college, because college for me wasn't working. Like I was a terrible student. It was going to take me like a million years to graduate with a 4-year degree. I would have had a ton of debt, and at the end of the day, I was going for stuff that I didn't even really want to do, and what I wanted to do, I didn't even really need a diploma for. So once I realized that, it was like, what am I doing? And at that point, I was confident in my abilities to make decisions, and I trusted myself enough to drop out of college. This video ended really, really weird.